All right, welcome again. We are here at the National Monthly Meetup. I'm Steve. I'm from Houston. We got a lot of state leaders on the call today. Check your chats. Have your chat up. It's hard for me, but everybody else, you'll have the other leaders on there answering chat as well. And since we are 5 minutes in already, we'll go ahead and start. Again, welcome. This is February's monthly meetup. It's February 13th. Grateful to see everybody here. If you're not in the network yet, you just saw an invite, join the network right there on the left. The Instagram QR code is right in the middle and a donate code. If you feel as you would like to do that, please do so. It goes through PayPal and I think our Shopify site. We got our mission, vision, and core values. Our purpose. Hives for Heroes is here to connect veterans and first responders to beekeeping all over the country. We provide connection, purpose, relationships, and service through our access, resources, and funding for your success. So what does that mean? That means we're going to do our best. It is a massive goal of ours, especially Charles McMaster right there, as you see on the screen, to connect you to a beekeeper in your local area. We want that locality because of our core values. We want the connection physically there in your area. We want those healthy relationships that are doing there. This is a beekeeping organization, but it's more a people organization, getting involved and doing good things for yourself, your family, and your community. Super important there. We all have similar backgrounds, some similar traumas, some similar life stories, which allows us to get a little bit closer together. So that access, resources, and funding. When we talk access, you're talking about access to a network of beekeepers that actually give a crap about you. Super, super important on that side. Then you talk about the mentors, the one-to-one type mentorship relationships that are all around the country, sometimes 1 to 2, sometimes 1 to 3. We have 3 times more newbies than mentors in the organization. So newbies, please stay patient and look at other avenues as well. The first thing we're always going to do, like your welcome letter, is going to point you to your state beekeeping association in the counties. You're going to find people there. You're going to see people in your area. Please remember, you might not like everybody, but let's be courteous to everybody because we are still doing some good stuff for each other and the planet. We have that one-to-one there. We're also going to be rolling out a distance mentorship that we'll talk about later, and it will be more details, but it'll be quick and easy for you to get some one-to-one mentoring online. We also have tons of resources. Check out the resource page. There are tons on there. There's all the master beekeeping programs, all the state beekeeping organizations, and then hero supports as well. Different organizations that are here for you and to serve you and your families. Please also check out the events page. The events page on the website is as up to date as we can get it. We have tons of stuff all throughout the United States. You can even filter by your state to see if it's in your area. Additionally, if you know of any events that are in your area, there's a tab there that you can add it yourself. It's awesome. Just add it yourself. Admin will approve it, and boom, it'll show up on the calendar. So if you know something that you would like to go to, maybe somebody else would like to go to as well, which is awesome. And of course, we already talked about the education side, 13 master beekeeping programs. Do whatever you need to do. The goal of that is to be able to have you go to those educations. You pay up front, you put your skin in the game, you put your money up front, and when you pass, we pay you back. There are no questions asked. That's just how it happens. Awesome. So enough of that talk, because I know y'all are here for Dirt Rooster. I'll tell you what, I've not had a bad time with this gentleman. We have met all over the country at different areas, whether we were speaking or involved, dinners, whatever that looks like. Dirt Rooster is one of the coolest guys out there. If you haven't seen his YouTube channel, it is Dirt Rooster, Dirt Rooster or Dirt Rooster 628. He's on YouTube. You're talking about a guy that has like 35 million views and still keeps it real, which you will find out. As it shows here, he's a father. He's a beekeeper. He's a great husband too. Him and his wife are a team working on their brand. Of course, a YouTube type personality in my understanding, right? As I feel about him, a YouTube celebrity, and of course, a wonderful friend. And so thank you, Dirt Rooster, for being here. Can't wait to talk to you. I'm going to unshare the screen so we can see you. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great. Doing great,
Man,
Steve. Thanks for having me on here tonight.
you
Thanks
know
for
what?
really overselling it. I appreciate you overselling
I'm gonna ask you to sell it real quick. Tell them the channel real quick, so just in case they don't know.
Channel 628 Dirt Rooster, where hobby
YouTube.
beekeeping is a way of life. On YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, wherever. We're on all of them.
Awesome. We're gonna give you softball questions because we love that type of stuff. Where are you from?
I'm from Gulfport, Mississippi, born and raised and still live here.
That's incredible. And you do this
Yeah.
with your spouse. I mean, it's pretty
Yeah.
cool to see y'all together all over the place. So this isn't just a dirt rooster thing. This is like a family affair, right?
She'll be with me in Texas. You'll see her in a few days. Yeah.
If y'all don't know what's going on in Texas, we have one of our original sponsors, Winding Creek and Old Security Farms, is doing a grand opening in Conroe, Texas, and Dirt Rooster and Yappy are showing up to be some guest speakers along with
Yeah.
Ernie Welch, which is a Queen guy. Thank you so much for coming in here. I can't wait to give you a big old hug. I'll tell you that.
Oh man, I'm looking forward to it. We're gonna have a good time. It's gonna
All
be a
right,
good day.
more.
There's a chili
more
cook-off too. That's what I'm looking forward to. I never been
you
to
wait. You like to eat?
I never been to a chili cook-off. I don't really not like to eat that much, but I was excited to hear about a chili cook-off.
No kidding. I wouldn't have thought you had not been to a chili cook-off with all
Nah,
the
man.
places that you've been.
Now we're all about crawfish and shrimp over here. We don't know nothing about chili.
So again, easy questions. How did you get involved in beekeeping? Because what kind of crazy people get involved in beekeeping?
My brother talked me into helping him with a cutout years ago, and I was a contractor, and he had gotten into bees about a year ahead of that. Him and a friend of his had gotten into some bees, and they had tried to do a cutout on their own and were pretty miserable failure at it. And then he found another colony in a 160-year-old furniture warehouse, just a really unique building with one of those hand crank elevators that had the like 6 foot pulley spools and everything on so they could hand crank the freight up to second and third floor and second floor, I guess. I don't think it was the third floor, but he called me and asked me would I come help? And I was like, I don't care. I don't know nothing about bees. You can borrow whatever tools you need. I don't, I'm not interested. And he says, no, I need your brain. I need to figure out how to get in the top of this old building. I just don't know how to get to them. And I was like, well, not my problem. So, so he talked me into it and we went up and dug around this old building and weren't able to get to the bees, but we were able to get to the comb. We could actually touch comb, but we couldn't get to them without getting a lift and coming in from the outside. And the guy that owned the building was just not interested in the expense of that. And so he said, "Well, can you kill him?" And I was like, I'm out. That's between y'all. My brother's like, I don't exterminate anything. And he says, you handle it. And so the guy's like, I don't know how. Well, that's not our problem anymore. If you don't want to get a lift, then we're done. But we were in there with no suits and never got
Oh wow.
stung, and it was just kind of a little bit of an adrenaline rush, and I'm kind of an adrenaline junkie a little bit, and so I was like, I got to try this, and so our hunting club that we were members of had an old house on it that they were going to tear down, and the president of the club was lived next door to us, and he said, I heard you fool with bees. I said, yeah, I do. He said, the old house we're tearing down's got a couple hives in it. I said, let me get them before y'all tear it down. He said, yeah, that'll be doing us a favor. And so I went up there with just a little bit of direction from my brother and got absolutely tore up and got home late that night, just swollen. My body wasn't used to it. I looked like I had a goiter. My whole neck was swollen into my chest and it's like 1 or 2 in the morning. Elizabeth's going, what is wrong with you? You need to go to the doctor? I was like, no, I'll be fine. She's like, what are you going to do? Like, are you going to take some Benadryl? I was like, no, but I think I'm going to do it again. And she's like, you are crazy. Yeah. I was like, yeah, I am.
You're married. You already knew that part.
Yeah. You've been married to me for a long time now. So that got me into it and having as a contractor, so I had a good background in construction. And when people started hearing that somebody would do it because there wasn't a lot of people around that would tackle those big hives and stuff, I just started getting a lot of calls and I was like, well, this could be a separate business. And so that's what it turned into. And I started videoing and really wasn't trying to teach on YouTube. I was trying to figure out how to use YouTube for another business.
Mm.
But I was showing some bee stuff, and I was thinking, it doesn't make any sense to show it and not talk about what I'm doing because people won't know what I'm doing. And so I just started talking through the videos and just sharing what I was doing as I was learning, and
So you're just
it,
being yourself.
it turned into something. I was like, well, this is kind of weird, but whatever. We'll see where it goes.
I mean, and it's gone pretty crazy, which is incredible. You go speak all over the country.
Yeah.
Always turn things back to our core values. So I heard two of them right there immediately was connection, right? Somebody invited you to
Mm,
do something, right? It would have
yeah.
never happened without an invite. And that's
Right.
how it happened with me too, right? I got invited to something that I didn't want to go to, like
Yeah.
bees. I had the same reaction, like, no thanks. I don't,
Yeah.
I don't understand. And then that relationship part, but really what you were doing is serving the community as well, in that way.
hmm
And then you talk about adrenaline. What do you mean by that? Because a lot of these people don't know what
Oh
what you have
man,
done in the background.
I I used to do a lot of off roading, dirt bikes, 4-wheel drives. I don't know if you see the boxing gloves back there. There's two more pairs in my desk. There's boxing gloves all over the place. I like fighting. I like sanctioned. Not I don't go out and of course I'm a little old for that anymore. But I still like to play around. But anything that is kind of thrilling, I'll get into it. And then the bees were kind of like that. I was like, this is really kind of exciting because at the beginning I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know, or I'd heard about killer bees, obviously, but I didn't know anything about bees in general. And so I was just kind of winging it. And I did the same thing with yellow jackets. I was like, let's see if we can tackle this yellow jacket nest. And
Oh man.
I get tore up with the southern yellow jackets. And I'm like, I'm never going to do another one. And then 6 weeks later, somebody calls and says, I got yellow jackets. I'm like, all right, I'll be there in a minute.
Well, that's an adrenaline piece. I will say that was
Yeah.
a lovely component for us as well. I was the guy that was driving 140 miles an hour on a motorcycle that shouldn't have been doing that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And so that adrenaline rush, I think a lot of people on this call are familiar with that piece, whether
Yeah.
heavy training, combat, etc. But one of the analogies we use is trusting yourself, your gear, and your buddies, and walking into a place where you can have mentorship and
Yeah.
understand a process, and then find success and confidence. And as you
Yeah.
continue to grow that thing, you kind of, you grow as a person as well. So whoever's, let's see, Nick is editing a whiteboard at this point. Let's see. Thanks, Nick. But that worked out well. Yeah. So
Yeah.
that adrenaline side, right? It's like, okay,
The
I'm going to go
adrenaline
after.
side, I mean, it's just we've done everything from I was a repo man for a while. Just anything that's just stupid. I ran collections for a couple companies, and I don't know. Just if I thought, man, nobody else would do that, I was all in.
Yeah. So the obvious question, you're a repo guy. You ever get shot at?
I've had guns pulled on me, I had machetes pulled on me. Um,
Yeah.
I
Too that y'all can't see on camera is Dirt Rooster, Randy. He's a he's not a small guy. So if you would see this guy in an alleyway, it's probably not that you would be going towards him. You'd likely be going away from him. So when he's talking about, yeah, just fighting, I'm like, man, not a guy you
nah,
want to pick a fight with.
but I'm the nicest guy in the room, so
I believe that
I ain't,
now.
I'm not chasing anybody. Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. I do you have any like family or anything in the military? How did you get attached to
My
to us?
dad, my dad was in the Marines, is a Marine, whatever you want to say.
That
Everybody in my family was in the military, and whenever I got old enough to go in the military, I wanted to go in the Marines because my dad had been, and both my uncles on his side. My mom had brothers that fought in Korea and different things like that, and so my dad went in and during the Vietnam conflict, and he stayed stateside working on Amtrak and stuff, but when I got old enough, I said, I'm gonna go sign up. I'm going to Marines. And he said, no, you're not. I said, yes, I am. You can't tell me what to do. So between him and my uncle, who was also in the Marines, they said, nah, you don't need to go. You just need to stay, run a business, do something, figure out something to do with your life. And they talked me out of it. So I never went in the military.
Well, you're a pretty big target there too. They'd probably put you on, a submarine or something, or nah, well, that's the Marine Corps side. You'd probably be in an AV or something, hitting your head everywhere. So I think it's
Yeah.
better off for you. I tell my daughter the same thing. She's like, I want to go in the Marine Corps like you, Dad. I'm like, no, ma'am, that's not the direction we're going. I think
Yeah.
that's almost every military parent would be like, you know what, I did this, and so you don't have to. And
Yeah.
we're glad you're here for sure.
Mm.
So you've been beekeeping for a while. Now you have a what I would call a celebrity presence. You might not say that because I know you think you're just a normal guy, but you teach people all over the country. You're getting
I do.
invited. What does that travel schedule look like? How does it look like to literally teach people on a consistent basis all over the country?
It's busy. It's hectic. Um, my wife has had to put up with it because I make myself available through all forms of social media, through text, emails, whatever. I'm usually, if you hit me up with a question, I'm usually back to you pretty quick about it. The
Yeah.
the speaking schedule, I'm only doing a dozen or so events a year.
Okay.
But
Are you backing it off?
no, that's just during certain times of the year I just can't go.
Yeah.
If I was to go, you couldn't afford to have me. I mean, it's during the spring and summer. It's just hard to get away.
And so how many hives are you keeping now?
It's different every day.
A lot of
I
people on the call can feel that one. Yes, sir.
I say I usually try to stay under 50, but
Okay.
almost every year I get up around 100, and then by the time winter comes along, I've either given away or sold a bunch of them, and I usually go in the winter about 40 or 50.
Yeah, that gives a good like understanding. So some people on the call, of course, they're going to have one maybe no hives,
Yeah.
one hive to all the way through. So a lot of different backgrounds on here. Do you have like a biggest lesson learned just in general from your experiences? Right, one is wear a suit, maybe I don't know.
Now, my probably for me, it would have been to put a plan together going in because I didn't, and for a long time I didn't have a plan. I was just I had other businesses. Beekeeping wasn't my bread and butter. YouTube wasn't my bread and butter, and still isn't. And so I really didn't have a plan for it. It's just wherever it went, it went. If I ended up with 80 hives, and then I ended up with 80 hives, I didn't really care. And if I didn't pull honey off of much of any of them,
Okay.
and I would just let them run through the year. And everybody talks about survivor stock. Everything I owned was survivor stock, and but I left honey on them. I left them resources. I didn't move them around a lot. I didn't fool with them a lot, and
Okay.
so uh, but in the back end, it kind of bit me in the butt because I didn't have a plan for anything, and it's turned into a business now that I need a plan for, and I'm having to kind of retrofit a plan around what I'm doing.
Well, you got some pretty good people in your corner, right? Like you got a lot of friends, right? And
Yeah,
they've come a lot through beekeeping from what I've seen.
yeah,
Just as we travel and we're going all over the place. I mean, you got some pretty deep relationships. Is that would you consider that from this beekeeping life that you lead now?
yeah. Most of my friends these days are beekeepers. A lot of them have been in it a lot longer, or a lot bigger in the business than I am. So if I need anything or need to know anything, I always have an avenue for anything that I need in beekeeping. Uh,
Yeah.
if I need resources, if I need equipment, if I need frames or frames of brood, whatever, I've always got a resource for that as long as it's in season. But we're good friends with a lot of big commercial operations and a lot of big sideliners, as well as all the hobbyists and the new beekeepers around here. A lot of them get into it through us, so we know most of the people in the area that are into beekeeping.
Yeah. So let's shift a little bit to that mentor journey because you have a lot of friends in here, which I would consider mentor, but we had a conversation at one point. And
Yeah,
so we use newbie mentor in the organization as a way to differentiate, right?
yeah,
And actually, we were talking about it previously, is typically we say a newbie is somebody with little to no beekeeping experience.
yeah,
Well, that's not 100% accurate, right?
No,
It's somebody that might, for us, it's going to be somebody with less than 3 years of experience. So we can be, inclusive in that. And then our mentors are 3 or more years. That's really
sure.
the only difference, right? But can you go through and tell me what you told me, right? What you told me
Yeah.
was, yeah, that
My
mentor.
my opinion outside of an organization. My opinion outside of an organization is don't be a mentor, be a friend,
Yeah,
or don't be a student, be a friend because if you're a student most of the time, and this comes from experience, and if you're on here and you know me in any way, don't no harm, no foul, no, don't mean to hurt your feelings, but people can become a drain on you when it's a one sided thing. They don't have anything to offer you, but they need what you have, and anytime they hit you up, it's hey, I got a quick question for you. Well, 20 quick questions a day eats up a lot of your time, and so. Uh, but if you're friends with somebody, for instance, Darren up at Wonderful Bees, they run 20,000 colonies. And if I was up there every time I needed something, just bothering him, he'd be like, man, don't come around here. Call me before you come. Don't just show up.
yeah,
But I just took him chickens for his guys. All his guys up from Guatemala and they want fresh eggs every morning. So we just took him a load of chickens up there and then we go shooting with him. Uncle Si from Duck Dynasty has a benefit shoot every year and we go shoot as a team out there. There's a bunch of beekeepers. We go skeet shoot.
that's cool.
So we just hang out. We're just friends. It's not all beekeeping.
Yeah,
And
I was throwing this around as well. Exactly. It's not all beekeeping.
it's
Thank
not
you.
all. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, right. Like it's like you don't have to be the world's best beekeeper, man. The organization's not centered around that. It's centered around the people.
Yeah.
And of course, one hive, one newbie, one mentor. In that case, one friendship, one relationship that comes
Yeah.
together.
Yeah. Form a
It,
relationship. Don't just be a drain on somebody. It's not all beekeeping. Maybe somebody needs you to get together and cook for a meeting or whatever. Maybe you're a good cook.
yeah,
You know what?
bring your talents, bring your
Yeah.
spiritual gifts and your
Bring what you
talents
got.
and care about each other and serve another. That's one of our other core values, service, right?
Yeah.
Serve each other. I love the way that you've done things because your brand has gone from, beekeeper that's going with no suit with your brother-in-law to YouTube and explaining things in the education side. And then y'all have a physical brand, right? Hat,
Mhm.
shirt,
Yeah.
textile, all your merchandise. And I know that Elizabeth runs through that, and she is a great designer as well.
Yeah.
So when those two things come together, y'all's booths are really really nice. If you haven't been to one of their booths at the conferences, is that another shift for you? Because it seems like you're kind of a jack of all trades. Is this kind of crazy for you where it's going?
Yeah. I had no intention of doing that. I had made some hats at Lids years ago for just to wear on YouTube, just a channel identifier, I guess. And found a cool font, a cool color I liked, and I had Lids at the mall make them. And so I started getting messages from people going, "Hey, I want one of those hats." I'm like, "Okay, well, here's the font, here's the color. Go out to Lids at the mall and get one. I don't care. You can't get one from me." But
Yeah.
but I had made like a dozen of them for myself, and just kept literally hundreds of messages. And I was like, "Yeah, maybe we're missing something." So we started making hats, and we've sold thousands of hats over the years. And then we started adding shirts, and we've sold thousands of shirts. And it by no means is worth it for us because of the profit margins are small and the work to do it is high. It's labor intensive, it's demanding, and you'll make a ton of sales on large shirts. So everything you make next time is large, extra large, and then all of a sudden a
Yep.
bunch of 4X and 5X people show up, or a bunch of small. You don't ever know what's gonna sell. So
It's
it's
a whole nother beast. And this size is like you said, and a whole bunch of inventory, right? And if
yeah,
anybody goes on the business side, inventory is cash on hand.
yeah.
That's cash out the door and you're waiting for it to return. It's tough stuff to do.
Yeah, and we handle all our own inventory, so it's not Teespring or anybody like that. Because if I won't wear it, I won't sell it. So
There you go.
if it's not top notch, we don't handle it. So I didn't want to leave the quality of my products in the hands of somebody else.
Yeah. And she's designing, right?
Oh yeah, yeah,
So I can tell you right now, the ladies on here for sure, Neela loves that sweatshirt. The
yeah,
one with the flower, or just like going across. she will wear that. I think she has 3 different colors of it. She likes it
Uh,
that much. So
yeah.
you just said quality, that's for sure.
And that was
Um,
something that Elizabeth drew. She drew that and then had somebody put it in a I forget what kind of file you got to have for screen printing, but yeah, that was just something
yeah.
she drew.
And so we have other people. There are obviously other people on the call. If y'all have a question, please go ahead and raise your hand either
Yeah, I was
physically.
gonna say, as far as the friendship thing, I've got all my friends, but I see one in here now, Lisa.
That's
I've got
a
my friends. Go make your own. Is that what we were saying?
yes. Bill, can you say that? That's
Yeah,
wonderful. With it,
yeah. I've got my friends. Go make your own.
there you
So
go. I
yeah,
love it.
there's it's hard to show up at a conference and tell everybody that to make friends, be somebody's friend, and then and then tell everybody don't come see me. But
We talked
but
about that
literally,
yesterday. I was like, "That's perfect." Hey, man, I got my friends. I think it's time for you to go find yours, and that's wonderful. That's a great thing. That's what the
yeah.
mentorship relationships is
And
about.
it's not that I don't want to be friends with anybody or don't want to help somebody, but if you saw the amount of messages on all these different platforms that I reply to, no kidding, probably 100 a day through all the platforms, and it's I can't keep up with it.
Yeah, I'm glad I just get texts back, hours and hours and days later. It's all good. I love it. Rodney says he wants to be your friend. He's up in Washington. It's too damn cold up there. Hey, he's our Washington State leader up there. Matt Booth, North Carolina State leader. You have a question, and Yappy just came in, so wait for that one. Go ahead, Matt.
Not really a question, just wanted to throw it out there. So luckily here in North Carolina, here in March at our spring meeting, we are lucky to have Dirt Rooster out here as one of our speakers. So looking forward to meeting you again in person, again from the expo.
Yeah,
So I'll be set up out there in New Bern. So looking forward to seeing you again, buddy.
yeah, that's gonna be a good one. That's gonna be a good one. I get to bring Mr. Ed with me on that one.
Oh
Yes.
yeah. And that was pretty cool too. Randy was able to hand off one of the other shirts. We'd give him a OG Hives for Hero shirt, and he found another guy that would fit because it was what was it, a 3X or 4X? And
It
you're
was
like,
a
"Oh, give
3X. Patrick Brown at the Northeast Louisiana Beekeepers Association president has that. Yeah.
yeah, that's awesome." He's like, "Man, I need a 5X, bro. I don't know what this three. Why do you bring me this small?" Is what.
Yeah.
I
Got me
think I
this
see
skinny
Yappy
man
on
shirt.
here. Is Yappy on here? I know he's got something to say.
So Steve, there's a question in the chat. They want to know where the name Dirt Rooster came from, Randy.
That was a dirt bike. That was actually the name of my dirt bike was the Rooster, and Dirt Rooster. He's singing a rooster tail, and the 628. It was a 628cc dirt bike that I
No,
bought when I was desert riding uh, in 2003, and I bought that bike.
Cool. I've been watching your videos as long as I've been beekeeping. I started watching you. You got me kind of interested in it. And I've just always wanted to ask you that.
Yeah, it's a dirt biking thing. It's funny, and funny enough, when I was putting the YouTube channel name together, they make you go through choosing your channel name, and it can't be something somebody else had, or back then it couldn't. And somebody else already had 600 Dirt Rooster, and my bike was a 600 with a big bore kit on it. So 628 Dirt Rooster was available, so that's what it was.
Man, who had 600? I guess they got a little bit less views than you, huh?
Well, the funny thing is, it's a kit that was only built in like 97, 98, and that's if you don't desert race, you don't know anything about it. You don't know what it is.
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't know that aspect.
Yeah.
So we have those questions there. What's kind of one of the better piece of advice that you typically share, maybe on stage, maybe not, maybe you can't share it on stage, but what's something that you would either share with as a lesson learned or maybe an encouragement for new beekeepers, and we're all new beekeepers no matter how long we've been beekeeping.
For
You're learning
for
all the
new
time.
beekeepers, I tell them experiment in the spring because you almost can't screw up in the spring. You can do so much to bees, and they'll recover when they're growing and there's a flow coming on, or they're preparing to swarm or whatever. It's hard to mess up.
So make your mistakes in the spring, right? That
Yes.
people say you also lose your hives in the spring, right? Getting into the fall and you're not
We don't
prepared, right? So that goes back to your plan.
we don't really have that issue that bad down here. I mean, if we have a late cold snap, you could maybe lose a couple, but if you left your, especially like I do, if you leave all the feed on them, it's not likely you're going to lose them to starvation, which is usually what happens.
Yeah, definitely not in our climates, right? Down here south, it's not that big a deal.
No.
And Chris just asked, what is your favorite part of the beekeeping year
Favorite part of the year is like right now, just
right now?
because we've been out of it for a little while and just kind of itching to get back into it. So when I start getting calls for cutouts in February and March, I'm like, yes. And of course, by July, I'm like, no,
Oh
please,
man, no
please
more.
don't call me no more.
And
But
then Diane here says, "Hey, thank you for the courage to say this, Diana." She says, "I have a self-diagnosed fear of bees and trying to face it and think that will help me." I agree with that. I think this is one of the greatest hobbies that you can do to overcome fear in a safe
absolutely,
environment.
absolutely,
It's here, right?
it is.
It's a trauma response, and I think this is the best thing you can do. And once you get that mentor as well, if you don't have one already, or somebody in your beekeeping association or things of that nature, walking side by side with somebody brings a lot of confidence, and you're able to overcome that fear.
Yeah,
And hopefully you can, and that will translate to life. And I think that's the beautiful part about the bees teach us about life. Rodney, you have your hand up again.
Yeah, I was just gonna say I kind of got in this at the beginning of actually before the pandemic started. I got all set up to do this. I was scared to death of bees, and I thought, oh, I'll have somebody to help me. And then the pandemic hit, and agriculture they handed me a package of bees and said, go for it. I'd taken classes and stuff like that, and I can tell you, Diana, I was scared to death, and within a week or two, I'd gotten over that. And ever since then, I just love being with the bees. So hopefully you have a similar experience. I know people seem to be afraid of the stings, and I think that's what people get most anxious about. And
yeah.
the first 2 or 3 stings are terrible.
I thought it was
They're
fun.
absolutely horrendous. But if you watch some of Randy's videos, and you will see him get stung, and he doesn't even react to them hardly anymore.
Yeah.
I when I get stung now, I look at it and go, oh man, I'm sad because the bee's gonna die.
Yeah.
But the sting isn't bothering me anymore at all. So yes, fear is normal. You will enjoy the bees more than the fear.
Yeah.
And one more question before the lightning round over here. We have Scott Tanner. He's from Colorado asking, in your opinion, let's see, what do you think can we do as a beekeeping community here in Hives for Heroes to increase the number of people willing to serve as mentors? And that might be a general question. That could be all across the country.
Are you asking me
Yes, sir.
to appeal to a broader pool of mentors?
Yeah, what would encourage people to continue mentorship? Because what I see is, the older community is possibly passing away, right? This is time,
Yeah.
and we're losing knowledge, skill sets, equipment, lessons
I
learned.
think there's quite a few things really, because one thing you mentioned is age. A lot of these guys are aging out of the system, or aging out of the hobby, the job, whatever it is. If you can find somebody who's willing to allow you to come on and be their hands and their feet and do the heavy lifting for them, if you're a young guy, dude, the opportunities are out there. But the other thing is getting the word out about Hives for Heroes, because I bet you money, if I showed up at our local bee club and there's 30 people there, I bet you maybe one of them knows what Hives for Heroes is.
Yep.
And if people don't know,
We were talking about you.
Oh, that's just great.
It was all good. I
oh,
promise.
look, oh, look, there's a
Fork.
spork right there.
Yes.
Fork.
Let's get back to the military and childhood.
Thank you, babe.
So I would agree with that on the word side. So for those of y'all on the call, we don't do any dollars that go out to marketing and things of that nature. It's all been word of mouth. So the only way that people really know what Hives for Heroes is by talking to somebody about it.
Yeah.
And so that's been wonderful. At over 4,600 people in the organization now, covering all 50 states without spending a dollar on marketing. That's pretty powerful.
Yeah.
So again, Dirt Rooster just said it. Encourage people to talk about it. If you're, happy with the experience, talk about it. If you're upset with the experience, talk to us about it. We want to continue to get better every day. And another piece that you brought up that I love is that's aging out. And guess what our demographics is, right? 25 to 45, right? To be able to come into that gap and serve again in the previously, of course, military, first responders, etc. And you're serving again, and you're filling a gap that is much needed. Again, don't have to be the world's best
and a lot of those guys are former military. My dad is a perfect example. He is so itching to get in his bees, but I can't spend every day over there helping him out do whatever. So I do as much as I can, but if somebody came along and said, "Hey, would you teach me how to," and just let me go through, because he can't pick supers up. If he had somebody that just come along and say, "Hey, could you spend a few minutes and show me how to do an inspection, or show me how to find a queen, or how to look up brood or whatever," oh, dude, he would be like, "Yeah, help me get on my wheelchair, and I'll drive over there," and he'll drive his little electric wheelchair down the road, and he'll spend a day out there with you.
All I heard was a personal invite from Dirt Rooster. If you're out in the Gulfport area, that you would have not only an amazing person to serve, who is also a hero of this nation, but also you get to hang out with Dirt Rooster. That's what I heard. Anyway, I could have been wrong.
Yeah.
So a little quick lightning round right before we do the giveaways. So most amount of stings you've ever had at one time?
Of honeybees?
Yes, sir. Oh gosh, that's right, because your yellow jacket is
yellow jackets was about 150 in a day. Honeybees is probably 110 or 120 in a day.
Man, all right. So when you think about that fear, think about Randy going in there and doing that. Do you have any siblings?
I do have a brother and a sister.
Brother and a sister.
Both younger.
Both younger?
Yeah.
All right. What's the fastest you've ever driven?
135 in a car, 138 on a motorcycle.
Man, we're like brothers on that one. And then this is for you and your wife. What is your favorite place to travel?
The desert, any part of the desert.
Any part of the desert, man. That's good.
But she wants to go where there's water.
Okay.
Mountains or water.
She has what Miss Lori is here on the call, but she would call it, she likes earth tones.
Yes.
Miss Lori's awesome. Top Bar Lori, incredible mentor, has probably mentored about 35 people in our organization alone. But I'll tell you what, he tells me all the time, you need some earth tone t-shirts.
Yeah, Elizabeth likes mountains. So, Gatlinburg, places like that. She loves that kind of stuff. I just want to go. I just want to get turned loose somewhere. Just turn me loose somewhere. And if there's a chance of getting lost or dying, then I'm I'm all for it.
That's amazing.
I mean, last time I went to the desert, I packed up my bike. I went out there with a dirt bike, and I packed up my bike with Pop-Tarts, spark plugs, whatever I thought I might need, and just took off. No direction, just started riding. And I rode and rode and rode. Probably rode for 30 minutes, I guess. And I was like, man, I'm just out here in the middle of nowhere, all by myself. I'm gonna stop and take a break. I stop, and I hear brrr, brrr, and I hear some engines. I turn around, there's a couple of guys on bikes a couple hundred yards behind me, and they pull up beside me, and I'm like, what the heck are these guys doing? They're like, where you headed? I said, I don't know. I said, I'm from Mississippi. They said, oh, we were following you because we thought you knew where you were going.
No, we're all lost.
I said, no, we're out. And so I rode until like after dark, and then I realized after dark the whole desert looks the same. It's like getting lost in the Gulf of Mexico. You have no clue which way is anything. So I had to find my way back to my truck, in the middle of the night. And that was just stuff like that's just fun.
Sounds fun. I'd go out
Yeah.
there with. Well, thank you very much for being here. If there's any other final questions or anything like that, please feel free, and then we can announce the recipients of tonight of the gift card giveaways. Every night that we have these, we give two. Are they $100 gift cards? Yeah, two $100 gift cards away here as a way to continue the interaction. But also remember, everything goes back to the core values. So that gift card goes into your area, which goes to a small business, which promotes small business and connects you to another relationship in your area. So all these things continue to work together. Any other questions? No, I'm surprised Yappy didn't say nothing. He's probably on shift.
No, he wasn't working today, I don't think.
You want working?
No, I'm not working. I'm just sitting here being nice and quiet and enjoying the Dirt Rooster's information.
I'll tell you what, you guys are a hoot together. Yeah, whenever they're around the conferences, I'll tell you what, they're right next to each other. They're about the same size, so nobody can tell the difference.
Yeah, you can't tell the difference.
Awesome. So tonight, our recipients of the $100 gift card, drum roll, our first one is Diana Colon. Are you here? Hopefully you're here. Yay, awesome.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yes, awesome. $100. And then our second winner, which I don't know if I can say it. He's from Colorado. He has stepped up big time. We know him. We love him. Scott Tanner. Scott Tanner. So we'll be sending you guys a link to fill that out. Again, please utilize that for your beekeeping and equipment needs. It's spring coming up. What's really cool about this is several times that we've done this, we've got emails back or phone calls back saying it's exactly when I needed it. Somebody needed queens immediately, and they're like, boom, I got to get 2 queens with this thing and didn't have to come out of pocket. So as usual, it pays to show up. We're grateful. Randy, thank you so much. Thank you for being here. Thank you for the time. We definitely appreciate it. And you're more than welcome to stay. All y'all are welcome to stay. Typically what we do now is go through a couple of state leaders in their regions just to figure out what's going on in their region. It's going to be different for different people, obviously. And let's see, you were already in Mississippi. We have one that I haven't heard from. Amanda, would you be willing to speak out in Florida?
Oh, sure. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. Oh, we could.
Oh, okay. There we go. I got to press
There we
the
go.
space.
Yes, ma'am.
Let's see. I got the South Florida Honeybee Expo this weekend, and that's going on in Palm Beach. Next month is Bee College. We're about to enter the citrus flow. Everything's going really great. We had a kick butt winter. We're already in swarm season. We've already got drones. Everything's doing good.
That's awesome. And Amy reached out to us, and so we should be having a table at the Bee College as well. In case y'all don't know, of course, we do the scholarships called the BU Scholarship. University of Florida was the first one to come on, and then everybody else kind of came along with that. The BU Scholarship is designed for you to put your money up front, go and get your education, get education as much as you want. And then as soon as you pass that, we will reimburse you. So at the end of the entire journey, it's at no cost to you. We just don't want to waste money, and we want to make sure that you show up. So you put your money up front, put your skin in the game. When you pass, we pay you back. It's done just like that. So we encourage not only the hands-on, but also the education side to that. All right, let's see. We have
Steve, I'm gonna jump. I just want to say thank you for having me on. Thanks for the softball questions. Always appreciated. And
Thank you.
Thank you to everybody else that was on here that was saying hello.
Absolutely.
And I'll see you soon, brother.
Absolutely. Next weekend. We'll see you on Friday.
Yes.
Probably
Yeah.
Friday, Saturday. Awesome.
All right,
Thank you. Let's see. Tom Schultz up there. Oh, Tom Bacon had his hand raised, and then we're going to go to Tom and see what it's looking like in New York.
I didn't know when the appropriate time was, so I just figured I'd interrupt the most inappropriate time. So this is just, I just had some, I think insight into that, how can you get more mentors, right? Question. Most of the people that I know that mentor, right? And it goes into what Randy was saying, as far as being a friend, right? It's the quality of the mentees that you get. And that I think is the way that you can get more mentors, being like, are the people that you'll get to mentor here, right? You're not going to show up the third year and reteach them how to install their package and
Right.
teach them this because they're not actually engaging with it and learning from it. I know quite a few people that mentor in beekeeping, and it's just like Randy said, it's like exhausting because this stuff is not that hard, and if they're not learning it, it's because they're not trying to learn it.
Yes,
So
sir.
that's what I'd say. If make sure that it goes out there like Hives for Heroes, right? The people that you'll get paired with are going to listen and learn. I think that's
I think that's great and then that will transition to a lot of things. I mean, you got mentors that are willing to step up. We jokingly say it's like the selective service, right? Mentors are like, well, is there anybody in my area? And I go, I don't care. Sign up. So when there is somebody in your area, we can contact them and connect them immediately. And that's a good point. That military and first responder side on a typical in a generic way, you're going to be on time, you're going to show up, you're going to work hard, and all those types of intangibles that we know and love. Tom, thank you as well on a public forum for donating that last gift card. Tom Bacon runs Union Bee Company up in the far northeast. Man, y'all are cold up there, but definitely appreciate that. So, and thank you for your feedback, Mr. Tom Schultz. How are you, my friend?
Doing good. It's been crazy. I know it's been a little bit kind of focused on the family for a while in the local area. My son's he's in the Coast Guard now. He's a coastie. Looking to make petty officer next month. Going out to California for his A school graduation. The bee business is growing. Not so much in numbers of colonies. We're still between 200 and 250, but we did 7 tons of honey last year. I pretty much got it all sold. Actually, right now, my basement's under construction to make more of a commercial food grade. Instead of redneck hanging tarps up from the ceiling for a hot room, we're putting up walls, stainless steel sink.
Come on, ain't no good. I got time for that.
That's doing good. I put my daughter on the payroll during her summer break last year, paid her enough that I didn't have to write a check for college. She wrote her own.
Tax free too, baby.
Yeah. No, we working with a local veterans organization in the state of New York. I kind of was like I wasn't his primary instructor last year for six veterans. I'm the primary instructor this year, and I got 6 more. I'm gonna try to get them all to piggyback on with Hives for Heroes as well, and we'll keep growing on that. Got a local bee club. We meet once a month, and it's just it's not really a club. It's just people don't mind me talking about bees, and we meet once a month. And I answer all their questions. Got some research projects we got some Corey Weaver, I think it's Virgin Queens last year, some VHS. I got another beekeeper. We're doing a VHS genetic treatment-free project going on.
Been staying busy.
Yeah, it's been busy.
I mean, that's great. I mean, when you start seeing, there's a lot of newer people on the call. When you think beekeeping is one thing, there are about 5,000 billion tentacles that come off of beekeeping, and who are you going to become? What is your identity in beekeeping? And that's really important to understand because there's not a singular path. These things are for you to learn and be a lifelong learner and find something that you enjoy. Some people love queen rearing. Other people like, dude, I can't even see that. Right. And then other people love, the honey aspect. And I go, that's way too sticky. I got to wash my hands way too often. I don't like it. Right. So there's all these different paths that you can take. And the beautiful part about it, it's your choice. Run whatever you want. Ask as many questions as you want. Throw it on the Facebook group page. Somebody will answer you. I promise that. And you get to create your identity. So it's not, just, Steve the Marine, which I had identified myself all the time, but it's like Steve that served in the Marines. And it's a very different way of identifying myself, right? Now we get to talk about our bees, our friendships, and things like that all across the country. So, Tom, I hadn't seen you in a while. Thank you so much, man. It's so good to see you. And I'm glad things are going really well. No, that's incredible. Like that's a huge amount of growth. When we met, when we went out there and Well, we had, funny thing
We
is, a
haven't
lot of
physically
people on
met.
this call haven't ever met in person, by the way, just in case you were wondering.
Actually, the state apiculturist gave me a veteran. Well, he lives across the state, north of New York City, and he calls me all the time. He bought some bees from me last year. You know, I
Yep.
gave a killer break on some nukes, and he just texted me the other day. He's like, "I've only lost one so far." And last year he lost, before he called me, he lost all 20 colonies before
Oh, wow.
Christmas.
Oh, wow.
So he made some rookie mistakes, but yeah,
Rookie
just help him
moves. They
out.
were saying 7 tons. How do you reach those kind of numbers?
You know what? It boils down to taking care of your girls. You take care of your bees. I mean, and I've got everything from, I got one yard. This yard, when I first put it in, it started off as a mating yard, and I was going to get rid of it because my mating rates were terrible. And I finally got it queen right to get it through the winter. Last year, that yard with 30 colonies averaged 126 pounds
Wow.
per colony.
Wow.
And where I'm lucky here, where I am in southwestern New York, we get 3 strong flows. So I'm able to extract honey 3 times a year, and I still
Wow.
leave them 3 deep going through winter. I manage my bees a little different than everybody else. I manage all my bees in 5-frame nuke boxes. So it's easier
Wow.
on your back. Need a lot more boxes.
Yep.
But I can go through it's just easier to diagnose, easier to correct problems. I can get through a yard of 30 colonies faster than I can get through 10 framers.
Yeah.
It's just a lot quicker that way.
Well, and that's kind of like leading towards that accessible beekeeping. We don't have time for that tonight, but know yourself, figure it out, right? Think you have a
Mhm.
brain, right? If I can't, and I don't want to over time lift 10 frame deeps, yeah, it looks cool. Some other people do it, but is it right for you? Like that's another piece of that.
Yeah.
5-frame nukes, vertical, they like going vertical. There's so many different ways to do stuff. And that's another beautiful part about this organization is I don't have a skin in the game for Tom's bees. Tom gets to do what he wants, and it's none of my business. And that's pretty
And
wonderful.
you can go back and forth. I mean, like when I started my business, I just wanted rear queens, and then I got all this honey, and then I didn't like the stress of making spring nukes because people want their nukes, and I can't really start grafting until beginning mid-May. So I really can't evaluate those new queens a month later, really, because I can't get them through a fruit. So I only sell overwintered nukes. And this year I'll take nuke orders, but I'm not really advertising. But I really kind of want to run them for honey and see if I can hit 10 ton this year.
Got the friends and family there. I got another one in here. Thanks, brother. I got another one in here. Roy, what's your path, Steve the Marine? Currently it's trying to be a really good dad. That's the biggest priority to me is taking care of my kiddos, taking care of my family. My parents are getting significantly older, and then hopefully being a good steward here with Hives for Heroes. Right now, I'm at the helm, which is a blessing, and it's the coolest thing in the world to be able to work with so many amazing people all throughout the country. But that's only for a period of time, right? We all rotate, leaders rotate all the time. So continue growing in my efforts of trying to become a better person every day. But that's kind of my path, Roy. Let's see, West Coast, Alberta. I see you right there. What you got going on in California?
Not too much, but we have sunny days. We've had more rain than we've had, and I personally had a broken arm, still have it. So I'm looking forward to get out and seeing the bees, but hitting some local bee clubs and meetings and trying to recruit here. Yeah. So, but I feel like my bees are buzzing, and they're bringing in pollen and stuff, and I have a friend kind of helping me. So I think California will do okay this spring because there's a lot blowing, and we've got enough rain that we usually don't get. So
how are you feeling?
Good. I'm still not driving, but and I don't have a new car yet, but I'm getting used to staying home, which is, I don't think it's a good thing. Cozy. But yeah, my arm's healing, but I really can't lift or do that kind of stuff. But I'm still doing my photography and stuff. So coming along.
You got some beautiful work there. I just also dropped into the chat the printable information. It's what we call a 1-pager feel free to print that out. It gets updated from time to time as well. It is on our About Us page. It's just a link at the very bottom. And we will be developing the About Us page a little bit more. We got some more content coming from questions that people typically have. So we want to answer those straight up forward to kind of make it just a little bit easier. And then let's see, Charlie, how about a wonderful connection update? What do you think about that?
Well, this past weekend going to St. Louis one day and Peoria, Illinois another day. Rental car companies love me. I put on 2,500 miles on a car this past weekend. Just seeing America, seeing some great folks out there. I mean, the Eastern Missouri Beekeepers Association put on a great show. Nice people, really good. You know, some of the speakers we all have seen before, between Mr. Ed, Jeff, and trying to remember who else that was there that we've bounced into occasionally. Great opportunity, met some great folks. We're picking up some new mentors new newbies, and a couple new state leaders coming up.
It's pretty incredible.
I have somebody there from Missouri coming in, and I'm sorry that we are losing Greg Burns.
Yep.
But business is taking him in his time, so you know he gets a little bit of relief, similar to what Tom Schultz took. He wants to spend some time with his family, his businesses. But we'll have Roy Adams to pick up the load with that going on. Congratulations, Roy. I know you're on here. I hope you're still on.
That's really exciting, right? As things continue to grow, you would only expect the people in the organization to grow as well, right? It's one of those selfish things that we go, you know what? I really want them in that one position forever. It's like you're probably 9 to 5 job. Keep the really good ones in that job because they know what's going on. But the beauty about the organization is people continue to rise and continue to step up. So thank you, Roy. Thank you so much to Greg Burns and all he's done up there. He's coined the term learning yard, which is why we use that, right? It's not just an apiary type, it's a learning yard. We're there to learn and everybody's learning. Greg and his family run Nature's Image Farm up in Ohio. Of course, wonderful people, wonderful brand, bunch of gear there. So you can check them out as well. But again, thank you, Roy. Roy is the former newbie of Greg. So when you start seeing how the organization works, it kind of makes sense. You step up and and you get to do really cool things. You won't mess it up, man. We'll be there right with you the whole time. Let's see. We are a little bit over time, which is all right, but we like to respect everybody's time. So if you'd like to drop off, not an issue there. Of course, we are Hives for Heroes, connecting veterans and first responders to beekeepers all over the United States, providing those 4 core values, right? Connection, purpose, relationships, and service through access, resources, and funding. There's a lot of links on the websites. I put in the event page. The reason for that, one, check out if things are in your area. In Michigan, this weekend, I believe, is the Sustainability and Conservation Conference. It's online. Some of you might have gotten, some mentors might have gotten a link to that. I think Matt also pushed that out on the Facebook group page, if I remember correctly. And it's on that events page as well. It's Zoom. It's a virtual conference, and Randy will actually be speaking there as well. So there's a couple other really awesome speakers there. You got the Colorado, yes, Scott, right on time. You got the Colorado meet and greet as well on Saturday. That's on the calendar. Again, if you have other conferences, other events, and things of that nature, even if you have a business, that's fine. People sometimes are willing to pay for things. You can go put your class on there and give those people the opportunity to pay or not to pay. All right, just put the information on there. It's all in the form, whether it's free or it costs something, and let people choose what they would like to choose. Yes, and you have the event submission. Matt just did that there. State leaders do that on a pretty consistent basis. As soon as they learn of an event, they'll put it on there so you can sort by state. But if you as well have something that you know of in your area that you think would be cool for other people, please feel free to add it there. We want it to be a resource for everybody. And if you also know of any other resources that are not on that page, and maybe you have a nonprofit in your area or somebody that helps in certain areas, let us know. Send us an email, support@hivesforheroes.com. We'll look at it, we'll vet it, we'll see if it's pretty good and put it on the website. It's that easy. Of course, we're here for your support. I mean, to support you guys. So anything that we can do, we're happy to do so. We are also continuously learning as a staff that is all over the country. There are some communication challenges as people have full-time jobs and all sorts of other issues of tools, etc. So we ask that you please be patient with us. I promise we are working our tails off. The headquarters and the state leaders and the representatives that are out there, boots on the ground, are crushing it. It's just never been done before. So we're all figuring it out. And of course, anytime you have any ideas or thoughts, please share them with us. We're happy to learn more.